Hello, everyone. I'm so excited. We are back with our second speaker, the one and only Priscillia. How
Hello.
are you doing, Priscillia? Coming to us from Munich.
Yes, I'm really excited to be here and to talk to you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much for joining us for the Black Women Photographers Summit that is powered by Adobe Lightroom. Priscillia, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start, but I feel like I'll let you take us a bit back from your journey. Tell us a little
Mhm.
bit about your journey, how you got started, how you found your way into photography, and what really led you to focus on personal and business brand portraits.
Yes. So where it started, so I was born in and raised in the suburb of Paris. So this is where it all started. I first studied film and video editing. So I was first a video editor. Which was super exciting as well. Learning how to tell a story through images. I didn't know anything about editing before, so that was very interesting. I worked in TV before being a photographer, and I moved to Munich. I think it was in 2017. And I learned the language first. I was an opera girl, and then I moved to Munich. And I knew that I wanted to become a photographer. That was kind of my step in my new life and my dream job. It didn't really quite go the way I wanted. So I wanted to find some kind of, how do you say, like some kind of school where you're in the school but you also have a job and you can start to work as a photographer. I didn't find any company that I thought was interesting. So at some point, I realized, okay, I need to earn some money. So let's find a job in what I know, which was video editing. So I worked first, I think, 2 or 3 years in TV here in Munich. And then during COVID, I actually made the switch to become a freelance photographer.
Are you serious?
Yes,
Oh
that
my
was
gosh.
yeah, that was the plan from because I got
Mm.
employed by a channel like a TV station, and that was a
Mhm.
2 year. I knew I had 2 years. So from the beginning, I knew, okay, after those 2 years, I want to become a photographer, and I used those 2 years to learn. I started to assist a lot other photographers. So when COVID hit, I was like, I'm still doing it. I'm still not changing my plans. So that's how it started. And at first, I was not a personal brand and business photographer. At first, I wanted to, I loved print. So I wanted to work for magazines and newspaper a lot until I realized, okay, there's not a lot of money here. uh, it's a bit hard to earn a living just doing that. Even if I love the artistic freedom that comes with it, I love that you are sent, to meet people that you would not have met anywhere in any other, circumstances. So I still love it, but I realized, okay, I need to find something else. And I've done a lot of portrait before, and I also am very interested in the entrepreneur life, and all the business thinking. So that's how I decided, let me specialize in personal brand and business photography. And I've been doing that since 2024, actually, since last year.
This
I had a,
one, are you serious?
yeah. So, yeah, it has been a very exciting journey.
That is just so incredible. I love the fact that you had this end goal, but you weren't afraid to take whatever stepping stones, things that you needed to get there, but you didn't lose focus on what your goal was. And then, of course, pivoting where necessary. Um, And for those who are just joining us, Priscilla, she's sharing about the work she does and how she specializes in business and personal brand photography. And I also love how you are helping women entrepreneurs express their identity and mission through your powerful, authentic imagery. I'm going to share my screen for folks who can see some of your beautiful work here. Um, just one moment. Now, with the work that you do, your portraits have such a natural and confident energy to them. I really feel like you really manage to capture not just what someone looks like, but who they are. How do you help your clients, especially these women you're photographing, these women entrepreneurs, feel comfortable and authentic in front of your camera?
First of all, thank you. That's the best compliment I can get, really, to hear that the people I photograph look natural, that you have a sense of who they are and their personality. This is really what I try to do. And I think it comes from editorial photography. So working for magazines and newspaper, doing portraits, there is a very there is kind of an artistic vibe to it, but you want it to be interesting, but you want also for the person, you have a connection with the person. And as I said, I assisted a lot of other photographers before, and I got inspired by their way of working, obviously. So I think where the experience that I acquired helped me have the natural look, kind of, or the natural attitude as a North Star for the photos that I do for my clients. And how I help them, I think it's a bit hard to explain, because I think it's very just human connection. And at the end of the day, I attract also a lot of people who they don't want to wear a mask. They don't want to play a role. They want to feel like it's themselves. They want to recognize themselves on pictures. So I just help them by talking to them, obviously, so that they can feel comfortable. It's really establishing like a connection, and that they can feel that they can trust me as well. So showing the photos along the photo shooting, giving them a few instructions, look at your right, on your left, put your hands in the pocket. It feels very reassuring to someone who's not used to being in front of the camera. And I think that this is how it helps them to feel a bit more comfortable. Maybe I can help explaining this, because I think it's confusing.
I think it's beautiful. Okay, who should I click on? Do you see what I'm sharing?
Just to explain,
Mhm.
I have two websites and I have two Instagram. It's a little bit of a mess. I need to clean that up.
No, go
But
ahead. Go ahead.
but I mean, as you said, as you see on the page before, I basically have the personal brand and business photography page, which is the one that we see right now.
Mhm.
And exactly, so this is specifically for women entrepreneurs, freelancers. I will add also more corporate photos for companies. Right now, it's more individuals. And then the other one is the one that I had for the past years, where I show all kind of work, my creative work. There's a lot of personal projects. There are a lot of editorial work or exhibition that I did. But I wanted this one to be more business oriented, to have more text. So yes, that's why I have two pages.
Oh, but I think it's so clearly defined. Like I just love how you just like I feel like with photographers, creatives, those who are multi-hyphenate or do multiple niches, they struggle figuring out how to like organize it all. But I think this is beautiful. I think it's so clear.
Yeah.
I think it's so strong. I mean, if I was a woman, I would hire you because look, I relate to everything that you are saying right here. Like, okay, yeah, I've had terrible photos. Yeah, I want to feel that essence of who I am in my photos, and I think you articulate that so well, but also you show that so well in these photos. It's just gorgeous.
Thank you so much. Yeah, the copywriting is definitely it's not my strong suit, so it took a minute to write that down, and it's still in progress. As you know, website you have to update, and
Always. Yeah.
SEO. But yeah, I was pretty proud of that page when I when I launched it.
Beautiful. And tell me a little bit about your technique. What are you shooting with? How do you approach like the light and the softness? I love it in these photos.
Yes, I prioritize natural light. and like a soft light. I always try. I had a mentor, photographer mentor, who taught me once. He said, I mean, I cannot quote him word by word, but he basically said, never light from the front so that the light is flat. Always have some kind of shadow. So that's always what I aim for, is to give a form to the face. So I'm always trying to see, where's the light coming from? Is it from the left? Is it from the right? If there's not enough light, how can I just add a little bit to it? But yeah, I'm always trying to have some shadow at some point. So that's how I approach it. And the last years, I've been working a bit more with additional lights. I prefer continuous light as than flash, because I can see what I'm doing. Just that's for practical reasons. I can see what I'm doing, so that's very convenient. But yeah, most of the time I would use natural light if I can.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And in terms of your editing style, how do you navigate that? What tools are you using?
So I photograph on a Sony Alpha 4, and then I import the photos in Lightroom. I guess that's mostly what other photographers do as well.
Mhm.
I have some presets that I accumulated over the years and the projects, but each project looks so different sometimes that sometimes you just have to create something from scratch as well, or adjust, obviously. I really like to have some kind of analog vibe to it, so that, for example, the black are not completely black or the whites are not whites. I really like that. It's funny because if you go on the website, so the other website where I also have
Oh, yeah.
more creative work,
Mhm.
you can also see the evolution, because you see work that I've done, 5 years ago, and I used to be very like on the darker side and not so much contrast. And now there is I have a bit more contrast to it. Yeah. Yeah. Portfolio.
Oh, sorry. Do you
Oh,
okay. Oh, wow. No, I see what you're saying.
I don't see it. I don't know if you're still sharing.
Oh, sorry. Let me go back to it.
Yes. Um,
Mhm.
and if you go maybe down, if you scroll down a little, yeah, let me see if I can see some. Yeah, for example, this, yeah, I mean, you see this is going into like more darker
Mhm.
tones, and over the years, I've worked more with contrast. So now, if
Mhm.
you do the comparison, I have a bit more contrast in my pictures, but I do like a little bit of, I don't know, analog vibe. I'm not sure it's really, you can read, it's very visible, but this is how I'm thinking about it.
And do you use film at all?
I actually started with film.
Oh, cool.
Yes, because I knew I wanted to be a photographer. I think I was around 13 or something. I was a
Mhm.
teenager. But at the time, my family, I mean, I couldn't have a reflex camera, right? So I didn't have one for a long time until high school. I think I was around 17 or 18 years old. And at the time, we moved with my family in the south of France. And I found a photography class basically
Mm.
where I lived. And I was so excited because I never went to one. I was so excited. And the teacher was an analog photographer. So I started analog. And then he was so sweet. He gave me the first reflex camera that I had. He gave it to me.
Mhm. No, because I'm asking because some of them look like it could be on film. It's just gorgeous.
Thank you.
And especially the lighting, I am truly, truly impressed about the way you use the natural light. I think it's so beautiful. Others in the chat are also agreeing. They're saying your work is gorgeous. Um, when it comes to, approaching a portrait shoot, editorial, whatever the shoot is there a certain mood or emotion that guides your creative process?
Oh, um, I think I'm always trying to find something interesting in the picture. Um, how can I say that? I don't like when things are too perfect. So I'm always trying to bring some kind of humanness to it. You know, I don't want the lighting to be perfect. And that's why I like natural lighting. There's something, I mean, you feel the
Wow.
natural atmosphere. Yeah, it's warmer, it's human, you recognize the person. So I don't like to put things into, I don't like scenes so much. I mean, I do like scenes actually, but I'm trying to capture the person the way they are, and I'm trying to have their eyes very focused. I if they're looking in the camera, um, that's something that I repeat a lot sometimes. It's like look in the camera as you're looking at someone, you know, it's there is an intention behind it. So I'm trying to find that, you know, that presence.
That's so beautifully said. Your work, you are working across different contexts, like themes from commercial to artistic. I've even seen some socially driven projects as well. How do
Yes.
you balance those two worlds, and do they influence each other?
Oh, that's a very good question. It's been very interesting because I've always seen photography for me as a job but in a good way. I knew that I wanted to earn a living with it because that was like a dream of mine. But I've never seen myself as an artist for a very long time. And funnily enough, I was asked, I think since 2020, and I think because also of George Floyd, who had very big influence also in Europe and Germany, and Black Lives Matter, I was asked a lot to do exhibitions. I think that I'm probably the only Black woman in Munich photographer. So I guess, you know, and I know I've worked with people as well before, so I have a little network, and that has been very interesting to do exhibitions while it was never really my ambition before. So the social projects come from, you know, the people I spend time with. Obviously, I'm also very involved in the Black community here because there are not so many Black people here. Back in Paris, you know, Black people are everywhere. You're not looking for them. You don't. I didn't feel that need to be close to them because, you know, they're everywhere. My family's there. But in Munich, it's a bit different. So I think that my social, how do you say that? Or political views have been influenced by where I live, obviously, and how they influence each other. I mean, it's a really good question. I think I don't know yet how to combine them. I don't really show my artistic, social work, for example, on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn where I can connect with potential clients, and I don't really show that side. I haven't found yet a way to combine them, or if I want to combine them, if I'm comfortable with that. So yeah, that's the question that is still being answered, or I'm still thinking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is totally okay. I think, with time as artists, I feel like we're always, at least for myself, I should speak for myself, like, yeah, that's something I'm always like thinking about and questioning, okay, like how much of me do I want to share? And then how much of my work do I want to share? And I have multiple worlds that I exist in as well, right? Especially when you are working like, full-time job that is not related to what you may be photographing or whatever it may be. And it's like, how do you blend those worlds, like you said? Or if you blend those worlds, who know, it's okay to not have those answers yet. And I think it will continue to evolve as you as an artist, as a person will evolve as well. And it's so funny that you mentioned being the only Black woman photographer in Munich, 'cause you know I'm gonna ask you that. You know I'm gonna ask you that. What is it like being a Black woman photographer in Munich? Like, I just love the fact that we're everywhere, and that's what I try to show within our organization, our platform, that Black women photographers, we are everywhere, including Munich. And I just
Yes.
am it's so inspiring and so powerful to see, and I just, I wanna know what that journey has, like, been like for you, both in terms of, opportunities and challenges and how you've been able to carve, space for yourself in a place where, like you said, there's not many of you there.
Hmm. Yes. And I'm saying I'm the only one that I know of,
Yeah, that
obviously.
you know of. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I really hope more will come out of the works, out of the
Yes.
woods, and then we could do a photo meetup, we could do a photo walk. I would love that so much. But yeah, go ahead.
Um, how has it been? I I mean, it's so interesting. I think my um, perception of myself have changed a lot since I'm here. So when I first started, I never really thought about it, because as I said, I come from a context where for me, it wasn't a topic, So arriving here, and I say that to friends sometimes, I realized that I was a Black woman in Munich in terms of the sense of, also looking for a sense of belonging and yeah, and in community and stuff like that. That's not something that I thought about back home in France. So here, a lot of things changed in the way I perceived myself. So at the beginning, it was not an issue or a topic at all for me when I started to assist other photographers. And over the years, and probably since last year, I've been a little bit more aware of it. Also because navigating on LinkedIn, that was also a new platform for me. I had to understand, what do you do there? How do you interact with people? What's the strategy? And at times I felt pretty defeated as well. I don't know if other people are in LinkedIn and are successful there, but I felt pretty defeated. And I was asking myself, okay, what is it like? Maybe I have to change the strategy. Maybe I have to do this. And there are a million things that you can do better. But I definitely also ask myself, is, the way I look probably influence also, people, obviously. And we tend to, like, as human beings, we tend to gravitate towards the one that we look alike with. So that's something I'm aware of. On the other side, I believe that it is a bit more, how do you say that? I feel more powerful when I focus on the things that I can control. So even if I know that that is a parameter and it can sometimes play against me, I know that sometimes it also plays for me, as I said, with the opportunities of exhibitions and things like that. I know that people come to me because I'm a Black photographer. So it has pros and cons, like everything, and it influences people, influence myself, how I interact as well. But I'm trying to use it for the best and make it my strength. I think it's great to be unique and
Yeah.
it's about a way to make it something powerful for yourself and know how to use it for yourself.
That is so beautifully said. And actually, one of our other speakers, Whitley Issa, she's based in Brussels, Belgium. She has navigated LinkedIn like no other. She is a force on LinkedIn, and I will be asking her all about that in our conversation with her. So hopefully you can tune in. If those
Yes.
who are listening, if not, don't worry, you can catch her session later about how she's navigated LinkedIn. Because, like, honestly, navigating all the social media platforms, it's a love-hate relationship. It really is.
It,
And it can be defeating if you are only paying attention to like the numbers, the algorithm, but I really hope that, as you continue to show your work, that you don't get so caught up in that because, like you said, those who need to find you will find you. I fully believe that. And I think you're doing such an incredible job, and especially in a place where there's not that many of you. And to that point, what advice would you have for somebody who moves to a new place, new city, new state, and to develop those connections, that community? Because you have found community in Munich. So how did you navigate that?
Yes, I mean, my experience moving to Munich was really beautiful. I was looking forward to it. I moved to Munich because I just wanted to be in the city. So I think that makes a huge difference as well if you're moving for work or for someone else, or if you're really moving for yourself. So that was a very selfish decision for me. That so I already came with a very open-minded, spirit. And I love exhibitions. I love to go to small events. It can be a concert or, an artistic project. And that's how I met a lot of interesting people and people that I worked with afterwards, or people that I've said, oh, I know this person, she's looking for a photographer. So it was really being open, being curious, and finding spaces where you feel safe, finding spaces where you feel good. And obviously, you have to go first to kind of know, is that for me? But I think that, yeah, the city where I'm in, Munich, is it's perfect for me as a city, like the size of the city, because that's a big city, but it's also pretty small relatively to like a bigger city, like to Berlin, for example, or to Paris. And so when you start going to the same kind of events, you connect with people that are also going to those events, and you start making friends and connections because you see those people over and over again, and so the connection happens quite naturally.
I think, one of the reasons why I'm so inspired by your story is because the recent recognition you received. You were nominated for the Photography Award of the City of Munich,
Yes, that
and
was big thing, yeah.
that is huge. Like I said, to move to a new place and to be able to establish yourself in said new place and then be recognized by the new place. I mean, it's not as easy as it sounds. And huge congratulations for that. And now your work is on display at Munich City Hall and through the end of the year. So again, congratulations. How does it feel to have your work recognized in this way?
Thank you. It feels really good. It feels really good. And I think, especially when you're not expecting it. For example, the nomination for the award that was in 2022. And I think that I didn't even know it existed at that time. And that's also a very special award because you can't, how do you say that? You can't apply for it.
You're right.
So yes, so there is like a small group of people from all different kind of field. There is architecture, jewelries, sculpture, etc. And they come together and they nominate someone, and then at the end, all the nominated nominees create an exhibition. So there is a big exhibition, and at the end, someone is attributed or is awarded in each category. But that was really cool for me because I did not know anybody from the jury. So the person who nominated me, I think I never met him. I talked to him once on the phone. He called me and told me that I was nominated. He nominated me, but then I never met him ever after. And I was like, this is so strange, but I
You
love
see,
it.
that's amazing because it really, I think that's just so affirming and just another reminder to folks that you never know who's watching.
Very true.
You never know. That is why you just have to continue to do that good work and like really just show up for yourself because you really don't know. Like somebody was paying attention and nominated you for something that you can't even apply for. I think that's just incredible.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible, and I got to do this exhibition with two other photographers that I looked
Mhm.
up to, that I assisted. So in my head, I was the little, baby photographer who's still learning, and then I'm nominated along them. So that was a big thing for me. That gave me a lot of confidence as well. Yeah.
And for those who maybe visit Munich or maybe are tuning in and are in Munich, what can they expect to see? And what stories or themes are you highlighting through your work that's being shown?
What can they expect to see where? Sorry.
Yeah, what can they expect to see in the exhibition?
Oh, yeah. So the exhibition was, it's a commission that I got from the City of Munich, and they have a department that is called diversity and inclusion. So that's also a topic here, right? So they wanted something that talks about the Black perspective, or yeah, BIPoC perspective here. And my idea was to give the space, the city back to Black people. So here we're not a lot, like you don't really see us here. You can go a full day in Munich and feel like you've seen two Black people. So it was, for me, the backstory is how can we occupy the space, basically. And I photographed seven portraits, myself included, and superimposed the portrait with locations in Munich that are pretty recognizable when you've visited Munich. So this is basically like each photo is 1 meter. Those are pretty big prints, and it's printed on fabric. And because we wanted it to be, I worked with a friend who is a art curator, and we wanted to play on opacity. We wanted to play with texture. It was also about what those location mean for each of the people that I took a picture of. And each location has a story behind it, basically. But we chose not to explain those stories because they're also very much linked to what it is or how it is to be a Black person in Munich. And we wanted those stories to stay in the community. We wanted those stories to still feel like, those people are safe to tell their stories. And those are, like, not always good stories. So it was really about how can we show, but also give the space to ourselves to just say, well, yeah, things happen there, but it's not about explaining or over explaining our experience once again, as we are used to. We want to be understood, and we want to explain, this is not okay, and this is what happened. And we said, no, this time we understand what is okay. We understand each person experience, and we don't want to over explain it. So we want to show, and we showed the faces and we showed the location, but we didn't explain what the story where, and we wanted to play with that concept of opacity and transparency. I'm not sure it's very clear, but I hope it is.
No, it is, and it makes me I really wish I could go and see it myself. That is just incredible. We have a question here from the chat. Leslie asked, "Do you have any upcoming projects, and will you publish a book in the future?"
That's a lovely question. Thank you, Leslie. Do I have any upcoming projects? No, because the thing is, right now, so at the end of the year, so since September, I've had several projects happening at the same time, artistic projects. So things that I've been working on for the past year, and everything is happening at the same time. So I have 2 exhibitions running right now, and I'm also working with an artist, a musician from Congo, and she has a lot going on. So every month there is a drop, like a music drop. So I'm part of the team. So that is also like a lot of things happening there. We did some cover shootings, and now it's about, printing the photos and documenting the events. So there's a lot of things coming, or there's a lot of things happening right now, so that I feel like for the end of the year, I'm good. And then next year, I hope that interesting things will happen.
I have a feeling they will. Like, I really do. I don't think you have to hope. I think they will. Um, how has moving to Munich challenged or expanded your artistic voice?
Oh, um, I mean, when you move to another country, and I guess every person that has been doing that know this, but you're forced to grow and to challenge yourself. I mean, you're challenged every day. Alone with the language, I'm not. I didn't speak German when I was a kid, so you have to learn that, and that alone is expands your mind because you use other words. They have other ways to think about things, and it forced you to stay curious. And this curiosity, I think, is very nurturing to your creativity, and is inspiring everything that you do, right? And so I met a lot of artistic people here. I love, as I said, exhibitions. I love to meet new people. This year I was a lot at rather business events. So that's also very interesting to go to one business event and then the next year to go to an opening vernissage. Those are two different crowds, right? But those two are very inspiring in their own ways. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. And when you mentioned in the beginning, you first started as video editor, that's right?
Yeah.
What, I guess, for you, was the turning point that made you then start calling yourself, "I am a photographer"? Do you, remember that first photograph, that first shoot or whatever that it's like, "Okay, yeah, I'm a photographer now."
I love this question. It was such a struggle to call myself a photographer. It was a journey. It's not that I had a photo shoot and I was like, oh, now I can call myself a
Right,
photographer.
right.
I had to work on that because I was scared to say I was a photographer. When you first start, it's very hard to feel legitimate to call yourself a photographer. You're like, am I professional enough yet? If I say I'm a photographer, then people will take me super seriously, but I'm not so confident in my own skills right now. So there is a lot of adjusting, identity adjustments going on there. And I had to listen to a lot of self-development podcast, to get to confidently call myself a photographer. I think I heard someone said, like, if you write, you can call you a writer. If you take photos, you can call you a photographer. And I guess some people would disagree, but that really helped me. I was like, okay, so if that's that simple, sure, I'm a photographer. I take pictures, But yeah, it took some time. It took some time.
And it's so funny because I went through those same emotions too, and I guess my follow-up then is, I'm sure this is the same answer, but at that in that same breath, okay, when did you have that confidence to then start charging people to
Oh,
say, "I'm a photographer, and now you're gonna pay me for what I do"?
mm. Ah, I need to think. When was the first? Uh, I think that with the charging people, I think it came pretty early on, even if it was like very small fees. But I think the smallest was probably like 250. And I got a sense because I started as a photo assistant. So I was already, hearing some numbers. I knew how much I was paid as an assistant. That was around that 250. So for me, that was my baseline. And I did not do any photo shoot for free that I was not passionate about. It was either a personal project where nobody got paid, or if I was asked, I would always ask for a little something, also for people to get a sense of the value of your work, especially I don't know, but I feel like as a photographer, especially when you start and you meet, friends or friends of friends, it's very easy for them to say, "Oh, you're a photographer. I love photography. We should do something together." And then I'm like, "Yeah, but is that a real thing, or are you just want to have fun because this is my work, you know?"
Right, right.
So I was very aware of that dynamic from the beginning, and that was important for me to say, "Sure, we can work together. What is your budget?" Because then they take it seriously.
That is a great way to navigate that, and I guess and then another follow-up then, how do you go about then with rates? Like, changing your rates? Like, is it like new year, new rates? Like, w how do you navigate that?
I would love that, if it was like, 31st of December and 1st of January now plus 50%.
No, but honestly, sometimes I don't know about, in Munich right now, but, like, here in the US, I do know some people who did that because they factor in inflation, right? If everything else is going up, then
Yeah.
my rate should go up too because the cost of living has gone up. Um, and you are doing work that is hopefully covering your living, you gotta think about what your cost of business is, and then in addition to that, what you wanna and I don't wanna just, like, work just to pay my bills, I also wanna enjoy, I also wanna go on a vacation and all those other things. So how do you navigate that?
Yeah, 100%. And I think the inflation thinking is super fair. I think that we should definitely increase our prices also based on inflation. The pricing, I mean, I found it so fascinating how money has to do with psychology and how everyone has, a different feeling about it and different approach to it. I have been scared for sure to ask for more money. I have been so scared. What helped me a lot was that I had a business coach last year. So I did 6 months business coaching, and that really helped me. I think the first 2 months, I don't know, but within 2-3 weeks, she looked at my prices. She's not a photographer. She works with creatives, but she's not a photographer. She doesn't live in Munich. She lives in London. But she looked at my prices and she was like, "You have to triple that." I was like, "Are you sure?"
She said not the triple, not double, triple. I
Yeah, no,
love
not double.
that.
Because it was pretty low. I think I was still
Yeah,
around 300 euros, for
yeah.
a session. She's like, "No, you're gonna go with 1,500 now." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna, I pay her for that. I'm gonna follow her advice." But that was definitely very learning curve to say that with confidence. And what helped me a lot was to understand more of the business aspect of it. So there was a before and after the business coaching, because before I saw myself as, I'm a photographer who takes picture, but that's it. I didn't really see the business aspect of it. And after that, I realized, oh no, I'm running a business. It's just not about taking the camera and taking nice pictures. There is a whole, world behind that to make it work. Um, Obviously, the marketing aspect of it, and make sure that you cover your costs and things like
Oh,
that. And maybe to some people it's super, obvious, but to me that was not. And so from that point, I became, yeah, a bit more confident about, raising my price and also giving myself some challenge. Sometimes I would try, a little higher price and see, how people respond to it. Um, and that's the interesting part as well. It's a lot of, I feel like entrepreneurship, working for yourself, is a lot of overcoming your own fear and overcoming your own assumptions about what people accept to pay and how they perceive your work. The way you perceive your own work influence a lot how you will sell yourself. And that was, for a long time, that was my, how do you say that played against me, because I tended to undervalue what I was doing.
You said so many good nuggets of gems right there. And one thing I'll just go back to real quick is, for those who do not know, Priscillia is actually one of our Black Women Photographers times Nikon grant recipients. And within our grant fund, one of the things that we have, grants for project based, but also business grants, because like you said, there's so much more to photography, what we do, than just taking the photos. We are a business, right? We should see ourselves as small business owners. And within that, there's business costs, business expenses that, whether it's your website, whether it's your domain, whether it's the marketing, whatever it may be. And Priscilla was one of our business grant recipients because we truly value the fact that you all are small business owners and you need whatever expenses covered for whatever reason to help your business thrive and succeed. And so I really, really value what you said there. Um, Priscilla, we have a few questions in the chat that I'll get to real quick. Um, One person asked here, um, have you proactively thought about how you will inspire the next generation of women and girls? Have you considered speaking at high schools, universities, or communities that are transitioning back into society who may be inspired to be a photographer?
Ooh, that's a good question. I so to answer the question very directly, I haven't thought about
I think
how like
so. I think
proactively.
I think you would be fantastic. Not to cut you off, but
Yeah.
you would be such a beautiful speaker.
That I mean, that's something I definitely need to think about more. Also, like, the sense of legacy, like what do I want, to leave in the world, kind of. I think that's a strange question, but in a way, we all are asking this at some point, in our lives. Um, I I haven't thought about it really a lot, but I definitely see need, especially here in the Black community or people of color. I definitely see a need and a desire to learn from each other. And this is the space where I'm mostly in right now. I mean, me personally, but obviously I also have some work in the community, and to me that makes a lot of sense to be actively giving some kind of workshops or things like that. I've done workshops before. I want to do more of that. And yeah, hopefully then, yeah, in high schools and university. I mean, I would love to. That would be so exciting.
I think you would have such an inspiring story to share with everyone. And let's talk because I feel like if you want to do some workshops, we'd love to partner with you for that to continue the work. And it's not too early and not strange to think about legacy as a photographer. Like I think honestly, we don't think about it enough, right? Like, okay, what do you want? Your legacy to be can be such like a big, like overwhelming question, but you can take that and minimize that. Okay, like, how do you want people to feel with your work, right? That's also part of your legacy, the impact you'll have. Where do you want, what do you want your photos, or where do you want your photos to go? Like, what happens
Mm,
after? Like, do you want to set up a trust, an estate, or whatever that will continue to share your work after you leave, right? Or
mm,
you know, your website, will it just, like, stop working? Like, it's, like, things like that you have to think about, and it's so scary and overwhelming to think about, but it's not too early to have those conversations with yourself or with whoever, to think about what that looks like for you, and I don't have all the answers for myself yet. I think about it all the time, right? I do, I started thinking about it more, and we have different, past speakers who've touched on it a bit, about what legacy looks like for them and how they're approaching that, to make it less scary, but, so that way our work is honored, in the way we want it to be even after we're gone, right? I think there's something powerful in being able to try and control that, whatever that looks like. Um,
mm.
I have
Can I
another question. Oh, yeah, yes, please, go ahead,
ask
yeah.
you how would you answer this question?
Man. It's like I'm telling you because it's like I've had these. conversations with myself, and it's like I still am grappling with what that would look like for me, right? Um, it's like, okay, what happens to my archive? Like, there are some I've been doing some research. There are, some organizations that will, have that archive, like, you can, like, give your archive to them in that sense, and it's like the home for your archive, and they will respect your wishes, and maybe if you want your work put out, whatever, like, there are places that do that already, um and it's like, I don't know, it's like I'm still, like, trying to research and, like, navigate and think about that, like, you know, do I want my archive in another, like, with it protected under an institution? What does that look like? Do I want somebody to keep posting my work after I'm gone or my memory could I don't know yet. I think it's something that I feel like it's good to have these thoughts early and just think about that, for that way, the work you did here can continue to inspire whoever, in the years, generations, whatever to come. I think it's beautiful in that, but also I feel like there is some kind of responsibility that I feel like we have as Black women to make sure the work we did do, still exists, right? That it still holds, space, it still will inspire the next generations of Black women photographers because, I don't want all the work we're doing now for visibility, for us to be seen, to get hired, whatever, just to be just gone, finished. The next generation has to restart everything. No, like, I wanna be able to leave this industry better than I found it, and hopefully create systems and solutions or whatever in place for that way the work continues even beyond, right? Because I think it's so much bigger than us, as individuals, and that's why I think having those conversations about legacy is important. So I'm, like, approaching it in that way, but I still don't have all the answers yet.
But I feel like I mean, you're doing it already through Black women photographers.
Mhm.
I'm so in awe of all the work you're doing. Like, this is
Thank
crazy
you.
amount of, grants and opportunities that you're giving people, the workshops. There's so much things happening. I don't know when you're sleeping. But this is like, to me, this is also that will definitely, or this is already part of your legacy, and this is so beautiful. And thank you for that, really.
Thank you for the question. Thank you. I really and truly appreciate that. And honestly, I'm in awe of everybody in our community, like you, our work. Cannot wait for the day, like I was telling you before we got on, like that we can be in person and we could just like give you your flowers in person because I'm truly just in awe of how you are navigating Munich and everything else that you do and the work that you create, and especially for these women, it's just gorgeous. Um, One of my final questions for you is, how do you sorry.
So there is another
Oh,
question
yeah, yeah, yeah,
from Khadija too. What advice do you have for young photographers that are just starting?
yes,
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I would say so. My experience is I kind of jumped in, as a freelancer. I went from how do you say that? I went from assisting and having a job on the side, and then in 2020, I was like, okay, 100% freelancing. And I must say that when I look back at it now, one thing I don't regret it, but maybe I would have done it a bit differently, was that because of the pressure to earn money with it, I feel like I was very much in a race. I wanted to find my style. I wanted to have everything ready so that I could feel confident to have clients and stuff like that. I feel like this is I would now consider having like a part-time job, And first explore, first do things for yourself. I mean, I've done a lot of things for myself since the beginning, but with that pressure, mental pressure. And I don't work well with mental pressure. So it depends what type you are. But I would say take your time to explore and do things that resonate with you, with your story. What do you want to tell? What do you want to show? Like, what are the things that are touching you, as a person? And once you've found that, or you have a sense of that, you can try. I think this is super interesting, to do commercial work but still try to incorporate your personal touch of it. And that's why I would say, if you can, if you're not as impatient as I am, I would say take your time, explore, have fun, do things that are completely different. But then you will realize, okay, I like that better. And slowly, see, when you look back at your evolution, this is also very satisfying to see, oh, this is where I started. And so yeah, I would say take your time if you can.
Well, I love that answer because I just feel like, especially with the digital age that we're in right now, we are so used to just consuming so much. But also, I feel like, and then and the flip side with social media, people want to have like this instant like gratification or instant whatever. So it's like, okay, I want to be a photographer. I should already know all X, Y, and Z, and I don't. And then I get frustrated and I get defeated, and I put my camera down, or I go on social media and I see, oh, this person has better equipment than me, and so this is why I can't create the work that I want to create. But no, like, all of that takes time. You gotta take your time. And I always tell people, when I'm first starting out, like, I photographed anything and everything because I didn't know what I like to shoot until I did it. And I was like, okay, you know what? Newborns, y'all are beautiful, but not for me.
Yes.
Like, beautiful. I believe families should have all the family portraits, but not for me. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know that until you just go out and do it and try and just, like you said, have fun. And I think sometimes we get so caught up in the social media and everything that we lose the fun, we lose the reason as to why we started and why we picked up the camera in the first place.
Yeah, that is very true. The same happened to me with wedding. I did one or two, and then I was like, no, that's not for me.
Those
I'm
on
sorry.
my
I mean,
list.
I wish it was,
I
because
wish they get
great, but
paid very well. Very
yes,
well. Wedding
that's good
photographers,
business. And
great.
then you can also expand it in like family photos. So I'm a bit jealous about, people who can do that, but I did too. And I was like, no, never, ever again. Not for friends either. I'm sorry.
Not for friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Oh
Not
no.
a
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's, as I said, I think it's a type, it's a personality thing. And as you said, I think it's very true with social media. We lose patience as well. We want things very quickly. I know I was like that, so I wouldn't blame anybody. But yeah, I think there is definitely benefits to, taking your time and going at your own pace and exploring with curiosity in mind, rather than, pressure to be better than the next, or earn a certain amount. When you start, just have fun with it, and then when you feel confident in your skills, in yourself, and you have a sense of identity with your photography, then it's so much easier as well to find clients, I believe.
Absolutely. Oh, I love, love, love that. One of my final questions for you, how do you stay inspired, and keep evolving creatively after achieving major milestones? Because I feel like, I don't know about you, but for me, sometimes it's like, okay, I know when I have a goal in mind, and it gives me that motivation to keep working to that towards that goal. Okay, but then when you achieve that goal, then what? How do you feel? Like, how do you feel? Like, how do you keep that fire burning to keep wanting to be better, to keep creating new goals for yourself?
Mm, I love that. I think so. It's funny because I feel like the problem that I have is that, when you have, I wanted to say, like, too high goals, but I feel like I haven't met half of what I want to do. I haven't done half of what I want to do. So I don't really have the same problem as you. I'm like, when am I
Oh
gonna get
no,
there?
because I still feel that same way, and I think that's just like, I think that's the beauty of us, like the blessing and the curse of being a creator, creative, because I feel like we'll never be satisfied. At least I
Yeah,
feel like I'll never be satisfied,
yeah,
which sucks. But it's like it also it's great because that curiosity, like you were talking about earlier, I will always have it. I always want to like keep thinking about, okay, how to continue to challenge myself personally and
yeah,
professionally.
yeah. I mean, for me, it's definitely being around people that inspire me, being around people that are motivated. I have a few friends that are also self-employed in different, fields. I have a good friend who is rather in, AI area. I have a friend who is a graphic designer, a photographer, a videographer, and I just love being around them, even if we're not talking about work, but we're all so passionate about what we're doing, and we're doing so, many different things. I think that we inspire each other just from the fact that we're so passionate about what we're doing, and we love hanging in, exhibitions and like cultural things happening. So I think for me, being social with people, going out and seeing exhibitions or artistic things, that that inspires me a lot. And when it comes to, for example, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I felt a bit down. I was like, oh, I feel like I'm not making progress. And it was not really about artistic inspiration, but like generally speaking, how do you keep, waking up and you're like, okay, I'm gonna win the day. There's some days I'm like, why am I doing this? Why is it so hard? But then you realize, I think acknowledging all the wins, the small and the big wins, is something that is so important, because that keeps you motivated, that keeps you creative. When I feel down, I'm not creative. I mean, I am, but then, it's easy to write on a paper an idea, but then go out and photograph or organize, a project. You have to be optimistic about it. You have to have the energy that comes with it. So yeah, remembering all the things that you've done already or the things that you've achieved is also something that helps me. And I actually wanted to say, yeah, a few weeks ago I was feeling down, and I read a book. Maybe you know the guy, Alex Hormozy. It's called $100 million offer. He wrote a book,
Oh,
and yeah, that's a business book.
yeah, I think I've heard of it, but I haven't read it myself. No.
I mean, I did not know what to expect. I was like, I'm just curious, let's read it. And that motivated me, I must say. That was really, it gave me new ideas. I was like, oh, true, I can create this new offer, and that would be so amazing. So right now I'm in the high of, okay, I'm going to create all of those things. So I think inspiration comes in different forms. I listen to a lot of podcasts as well. I'm very much into, self-development, a bit of woo-woo, manifestation, so yeah, that's a mix of a bit of everything, I would say.
I love the yes, I love that so much. Oh, and I should say for those who don't know, Priscilla also joined we have an official podcast, our first podcast within Black women photographers called Photographer Life Check. It's hosted by Chrissy. She's incredible LA-based artist, and Priscilla joined our podcast. So if you're enjoying her right now and her work, head over to Photographer Life Check and listen to more of her story and the nuggets, the gems she has to share, because it was truly such a fun, lovely conversation. We have one more question for you before you go. Someone asked, if someone wanted to study different styles of photography, who are 3 photographers whose work you consider amazing?
Oh, I love that Leslie's on fire. She's like, questions
I
after
love it.
questions.
I love it. She's so engaged with
Thank
it.
you,
I love
Leslie.
it.
um, So 3 photographers. Oh, I mean, the first one I have to think of is Tyler Mitchell. I mean, I'm a fan. I must say I'm a fan. So Tyler Mitchell, I think is super inspiring. I love how to me, he kind of reinterpret um, beauty, and I would say art. How do you say that? Like almost like beauty standard, but he translate that, with Black people. He did a campaign with Ferragamo, I think the campaign was, and he incorporated, yes, he incorporated old paintings as backdrop for his model. And I thought that was so beautiful because that was literally him putting, those Black models, Asian models back into the historical, how do you say that? Like beauty is taught, we're taught what
Yeah,
is beautiful. And I felt like he put that together and was like, no, this is now the standard
yeah.
of beauty. That's how I felt about this campaign. So I think he does really amazing stuff. So I would say Tyler Mitchell. I would say Gordon Parks. Also really inspiring when you look at what he's gone through, how he became a photographer. I think it takes a lot of strength to become a photographer. I don't remember what the year was, but I think he was one of the first photographer working for Life magazine. And he did a lot of documentary photos documenting Black lives in the US, but also fashion photography, which I love those two
Mhm.
together.
And for
Um,
those who don't know, there's actually a documentary about Gordon Parks' life and legacy. When it first came out, we did a little watch party within BWP, and we watched it and live tweeted about it. Um, I don't know which platform it is on now. Maybe it's HBO. I'm not sure, but just Google search or whatever Gordon Parks documentary, and you can watch the several documentaries. But this main one about his story and the cultural impact he made then and still to today.
Tyler is saying his memoir is required reading. So now you know.
Absolutely.
And the third one I would say, I think he's the one of his picture was the starting point for me to say I want to be a photographer. As a kid, I was on Tumblr a lot. And at some point I was like, oh, I want to be able to do that. This is so beautiful. Alex Sauce. Um, he has one.
How do you spell the last name? Sorry.
Alec. Maybe I can write it down in the chat.
Mhm.
He has one photo series which is called Sleeping by the Mississippi. And one of those, his pictures I found on Tumblr when I was like 12 or 13. And I was like, oh, I just love this picture. This is so weird and beautiful. And so I would say he's in my top 3.
I'm gonna pull up his work right now. This one is Sleeping by the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, there's a lot of pictures. Oh yeah. So the one with with the flights, the guy holding the planes,
Mhm.
that's the picture that is in my memory because I saw it and I saved it on my computer, on the family computer, and I put it as my wallpaper. And since then, I think that's the picture. I was like, I want to be able to do that. This is
That
somehow
is
so beautiful.
incredible.
Yeah.
You should, if you haven't reached out to Alec, you should tell him because like that's the highest praise you could give somebody. That's incredible. That
Yeah.
is beautiful. Priscilla, I just can't believe we're already at time, but I'm just so grateful for you. You're just such a like a light within like your energy, your work. And I'm just, one day we will connect in person, but is there anything that you want to share with us before you go?
I mean, thank you so much. That was so fun. That was really fun. I was a bit nervous,
You are
but that was
amazing.
That was so fun. Thank you so much for your energy, for the work that you're putting into that. I know with, the technical aspect to it, that's not all fun and games, but that is so lovely to be with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Priscillia. And thank you to everyone who tuned in for her conversation, a part of our Black Women Photographers 2025 Summit that is powered by Adobe Lightroom. We have another incredible speaker joining us in just a few moments, in 20 minutes. So come right back for our next speaker. And again, Priscillia, thank you. Just
Thank you.
beautiful
And thank
words.
you to everyone who interacted and asked questions
Yeah,
so much.
so many great questions. Taylor Monet says, love this conversation so much. Leslie says this was a great conversation and learning. So thank you, Priscillia, again. And I can wait to continue following your work.
Thank you. I hope we stay in touch.
Absolutely, absolutely. Bye, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.